Hi there, you beautiful people. I'm getting a lot of questions regarding where am I getting my knowledge about relationships and sexuality from. So some of it's on a personal basis, like through experience and through observing other people. There is some of it that's coming from the books. I can tell you which books I'm reading. I also like a lot Taylor Swan, but I don't think I'm using much of her knowledge in my videos or in what I'm doing at the moment. And I also studied for, I think for 2 years, I went to the body-oriented psychology school where I was learning a lot of things about traumas and how we deal with them. We also went through a lot of sexuality stuff, and I also went to like personal group and partner therapies. We also had in this school, like, because the school was Friday, Saturday, no, it wasn't Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every like first weekend I think in the month. And we one day we only had like therapies all day and in front of each other, so I could also observe other people. And I learned a lot through like private sessions as well, and also me and my fiance, when we were kind of exploring and learning about ourselves, we went through partner therapies, and it's still the most precious thing I have in my life. I suffered from depression when I was younger, and up to the point where like it was a few years ago that I consider myself like totally depression free. I think I am. I can still get sad, but it's not like a chronic thing. And but before I actually started going to therapies and to school, I was very depressed and suicidal. I tried to commit suicide a couple of times in my life, but when I was younger, like the reason is like, I'm not gonna go deep inside, was my family, and it was very hard for me. But as I started to go into school, I started to connect with my body better, and with my mind, and with my needs and wants, because I was completely cut off from what I truly want. It took me a couple of years to actually reach my inner self and my innermost desires, and it's still the most precious thing I have. I promised myself then that I will always follow my instincts and what I truly want, because being cut off from your deepest desires and from things that you really want and need is the cause of all depression. Depression is kind of your innermost self screaming, I don't want to be here, this is not my path, like this is not a place where I want to be, I want to do something different. And I was never wrong with this. All the people that I know that are truly like depressed and that are truly, like half of them are on medications, which I don't have anything against, but I never used any myself because my mom was on antidepressants her whole life, so it was something I didn't want to touch even if I die. I don't consider that my strength, or I am not a person that's a medical professional, and I am not telling you to get off your antidepressants, but I'm going to tell you that they are making you feel numb, and they're not helping with what you truly feel. So what you truly feel is there still, and it will always be there, because if you try to shut off that voice, it would be like an eternal suicide, and that's what most people on this planet are doing. Whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever you feel, it's fine to feel it, because this is your true self. And in order to really heal, I think that what we need is not only therapies with the right therapist that's gonna tell you, okay, like you have these feelings, what are we gonna do with them? In body-oriented psychotherapy, you go through a lot of physical movements, and for a reason, because a lot of traumas that we experience throughout our lives, they're not on the mental state when they are happening. They're not here, they're happening in the body, and body remembers. So if you tackle the point in the body where the original trauma was, it's gonna pop out. It's easier to get there through your body movements than through your brain, because the brain copes and it's gonna cope with everything that's happening. It's gonna say no. So I remember the first few therapies that I had, because I had a lot of suppressed anger. So a lot of like my first therapy was just like hitting things with a bat. It was amazing, but I got to the point where my therapist said, okay, Anna, now it's fine, like you had enough of that. We're gonna pass to the next step, where you're gonna talk about your emotions, about your hurt, about your grief, about your sorrows. And I wasn't great with that. I was much better with hitting things with a bat. And I did a lot of homework, and I remember for a while I went to the woods just to scream, and that helped me a lot. But then I got to the point where most of my traumas were kind of entangled with sexuality as well. So throughout, like, you see, a lot of therapists are not gonna talk with you about this in therapies, because it's a kind of spot where you don't want to touch it. You know, it's kind of even for a therapist, if they don't have resolved issues of their own with sexuality, they're not gonna help you with yours. In order to help someone, you first need to have your shit sorted. And finishing up a psychology school, like the regular ones, it's not sorting your shit. Sorting your shit is to actually go through processes. And this is what my therapist had, and he's been a great help to me in all my personal shit. Because, you know, like, if you have a person that's, for example, like, if you have a person that went through their own relationship shit, and they can't talk with you about your relationship shit, or if they're grand with their own sexuality, they can actually talk about your sexuality without looking at you, like. And this helped me a lot. I can say the surroundings in my family were as bad as they were good. I know that it's kind of hard to understand. So my father was totally inappropriate in front of his kids. And the way he was talking about sex and everything was totally inappropriate. But on the other hand, nothing was so shameful. So my sense of shame wasn't as bad as someone would have in a normal, regular family. But on the other hand, I had too much. So that's kind of one side of what was happening. But I totally went off the topic, I'm so sorry. The body-oriented psychotherapy is like the best thing ever. Of course, I know it has its minuses as well, but if you are going up to the point where you're capable enough of holding and taking your shit, which is the most important thing in the world, you can step up and do something else, and you can step up and do some different kind of therapy, or you can focus on a certain kind of area in your life where you need extra something to do. I am so thankful to my therapists, to all of them. I learned so much from them, and then they helped me so much in my personal kind of relationship with myself, and in all my relationships with other people. And I realized after a couple of years that I am helping people a lot. Like, all my friends are always looking up to me for advice, and they always say, like, talk to Anna, because, like, nothing is wrong. Like, she'll take all your shit and she's not gonna think that you're weird. And I realized world needs more of this healing energy. Like, world needs more of this kind of energy where nobody's gonna judge you and you can feel fine with whatever you're feeling. And this is my agenda. This is what I want to do. I want to be there for people that feel weird and they feel like there's something wrong with them and they suffer from depression and shit because of that. I want to tell them there's nothing wrong with you. You're grand. You just need to accept whatever you're feeling, and then you can feel better. So guys, if there's any body-oriented psychotherapy around you, it's based on Wilhelm Reich, or anything that's kind of starting from body to mind, I highly recommend it. Again, thanks for watching this video. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. If you didn't, you should. I hope you will. And I will be seeing you soon.